WWE Nikki Bella wants Rhea Ripley to retire her in her last match. Hello guys. Welcome to my channel, I am Elena. Have a nice day. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. WWE Hall of Famer Nikki Bella has stirred up fresh excitement by revealing who she wants standing across from her when she finally hangs up her boots. During a recent interview, she didn't hesitate for a second before naming Rhea Ripley as the woman she'd choose for her last ride. It quote as a bold pick, especially considering Ripley's dominance and the aura she carries every time she steps into the ring. Nikki framed it as the kind of matchup that brings everything full circle. She spoke about her vision with the kind of clarity that makes fans lean in. Nikki imagines herself leaning fully into a villain role, running wild with a faction at her side, giving the crowd every reason to boo before one final showdown forces her to reckon with the consequences. And in her mind, Ripley is the only powerhouse who fits that moment. It's dramatic, earned, and rooted in the story she wants to leave behind. A final chapter built for spectacle. Nikki's choice says a lot about how she views legacy. Ripley isn't just another talented name. She's a force who has redefined the ceiling of the women's division with her grit and presence. Pairing her with a veteran like Nikki creates a contrast fans love. Established icon facing the modern enforcer. Nikki made it clear this isn't about star chasing. It's about crafting an ending that carries weight. She described Ripley as the perfect foil for a farewell that feels meaningful, the kind where the torch isn't just passed but slammed down in a defining moment. Story first, spectacle second. And that blend is exactly what WWE knows how to sell when all the pieces line up. As of now, there's no official date, no set event, and no confirmed plan for Nikki's final match. She's still involved in on-screen action, still fueling speculation, and still leaving the door open for a bigger stage. Even without announcements, her comments have already taken on a life of their own online, sparking theories about WrestleMania, a future Evolution show, or some major milestone waiting to be claimed. Triple H made a huge blunder with female WWE Raw star. She hasn't recovered since. Ever since Triple H took charge of WWE Creative, fans have seen a resurgence in storytelling depth and character development. The game is often praised for elevating new talents on the main roster. However, not every decision lands perfectly, and one glaring example is the handling of Lyra Valkyria. The 29-year-old was once portrayed as a breakout star in the women's division. However, Valkyria's trajectory took a sharp downturn following her loss to Becky Lynch at SummerSlam 2025. The decision to have her fail to capture the Women's Intercontinental Championship ended up being a grave mistake, as the Bird Lady never recovered since then. The outcome felt more like a deflating punctuation mark on what could have been a star-making run. Back then, when Lyra Valkyria was involved in the Women's Intercontinental Championship picture, she was a red-hot prospect. The popularity and momentum Lyra had were unparalleled. However, it all eroded with time following her loss to Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. The top-tier credibility that she possessed during that time vanished into thin air after that. In the following months, Valkyria was paired with Bayley in a tag team storyline that looked directionless. She was mostly seen in backstage segments on Raw that relegated her to a supporting role rather than the main highlight. Triple H has failed to book the 29-year-old in any significant storyline since SummerSlam, and her matches and appearances have become limited. The damage Lyra Valkyria's SummerSlam loss did to her is huge. From a performer who succeeded on every test WWE has given her in early 2025 to being stuck in a creative abyss, her career witnessed a sharp downfall. Given the recent situation, it wouldn't be wrong to say that Triple H seriously made a massive blunder by letting Valkyria lose at the biggest party of the summer. Triple H has one way to fix Lyra Valkyria on WWE Raw. Lyra Valkyria is currently involved in an alliance with Bayley on Raw Tag Team Division. There is hardly anyone who is enjoying this storyline, and instead, fans have started to lose interest in the Bird Lady. Triple H has one way to fix the ongoing problem, and that is the role model's heel turn. WWE should craft an interesting storyline, making Bayley turn on Valkyria. The two best friends should become bitter enemies and embark on a blockbuster feud on Monday Night Raw. This will once again push the former Women's Intercontinental Champion in the singles run, which is the need of the hour. Getting backstabbed by her best friend will help Triple H build a very interesting storyline around Lyra Valkyria. Storylines like that, having an emotional touch, often become the biggest highlight on the roster. This could work as a springboard in Valkyria's rise to the top of the women's division again. Sure, it will take time, but slowly and gradually, the Bird Lady could regain her lost momentum and re-establish her credibility. This seems to be the only option Triple H has at this point, if the company intends to build Lyra Valkyria as the future of the Raw Women's Division. Nikki Bella debuts. New look on WWE Raw last week on WWE Raw. Nikki Bella interfered in Raquel Rodriguez's Women's World Championship match against Stephanie Vaquer, allowing the champion to retain. The Judgment Day member was furious and cut a strong promo backstage, calling out Bella. The December 22nd edition of WWE Raw was taped after SmackDown on December 19th. The shows are being recorded beforehand to allow the roster and the production team some time off for the holiday season. During the Raw taping, WWE Hall of Famer Nikki Bella made an appearance featuring a new look where she wore tights and a new jacket, while also doing her hair differently. The new look seemingly amplified Bella's heel persona, and she cut a promo while standing on the commentary table. The former Divas champion announced a triple threat match between herself, Stephanie Vaquer, and Raquel Rodriguez for the January 5th edition of WWE Raw. WWE champion lashes out, vows to retire Nikki Bella. During a recent interview with WWE Espanol, reigning WWE Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer cut a heated promo on Nikki Bella. Speaking in Spanish, Vaquer took shots at the Hall of Famer for interrupting her bout and claimed she would retire Bella if she didn't do it herself. "I don't know why you keep insisting on messing with me, Nikki Bella. I was having a great match with Raquel Rodriguez. I'm always in control and you're making me lose my patience. I don't know what you're still doing here. You should retire, and if you don't want to, I'll make sure you do." With a high-stakes triple threat match seemingly in the works now, it remains to be seen whether Vaquer can continue to hold on to the Women's World title. Spoilers: Becky Lynch returns for first time since Survivor Series on WWE Raw. December 22nd, 2025, the Man was on a hiatus since her title loss. The Man. Becky Lynch had been absent from WWE programming since Survivor Series, where she was forced to tap out to AJ Lee's Black Widow submission, taking the loss for her team in the Women's War Games match at the final PLE of 2025. This was another setback for Lynch, who was already coming off a Women's Intercontinental title loss to Maxine Dupree on the November 17th episode of Raw, all thanks to the return of AJ Lee. However, during the pre-taping of the December 22nd episode of Raw on December 19th at the Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Becky made her return. Also read, WWE Raw spoilers for December 22nd, 2025 episode taped on December 19th. Maxine Dupree vs. Becky Lynch is set for the first Raw of 2026. Becky Lynch returned during the pre-taping of Raw to cut a promo, which was quickly cut short by the reigning Women's Intercontinental Maxine Dupree. The exchange escalated into a physical confrontation, ending with Maxine once again forcing Lynch to tap out, despite it not being an official match. Later during the tapings, Maxine Dupree vs. Becky Lynch was made official for the January 5th, 2026 episode of Monday Night Raw, with the Intercontinental Championship on the line. This edition made it the third title match on the show next month. Becky Lynch looks to bounce back, recapture. The title Lynch has suffered several significant losses recently, all contributing to her ongoing storyline with AJ Lee. While WWE appears to be holding off on their eventual clash, Becky is currently focused on bouncing back and erasing the bitter taste left in her mouth. The January 5th, 2026 episode of Raw is set to emanate live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. The show will also mark the one-year anniversary of the Red brand on Netflix, as its first episode premiered on January 6, 2025. Ushering in a new era for WWE. Liv Morgan returned to WWE sooner than planned following shoulder surgery. Liv Morgan's return to WWE television came sooner than expected, following a shoulder injury that sidelined her for several months. That being said, you never know who will show up at the table when WWE is making big plans. Morgan suffered the injury in June and required surgery. That kept her out of action through the summer. She ultimately returned at Survivor Series War Games, where she was involved in Dominic Mysterio's Intercontinental Championship win over John Cena during a recent appearance on Going Ringside. Judgment Day stablemate Raquel Rodriguez confirmed that Morgan returned earlier than originally planned. This came as a surprise for fans, because Morgan's return was initially slated for 2026. Morgan is currently featured on WWE programming alongside Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez as part of the Judgment Day. However, she has yet to compete in her first match since returning. That being said, just because she's back doesn't mean she's jumping right back into the ring. We will have to see what Liv Morgan does in WWE at this point. The company revealed her as the mystery superstar in the new WrestleMania Vegas commercial. Odds are she will have a seat at the table when the showcase of the Immortals rolls around. What's your take on Liv Morgan's quick return to WWE? Do you think that she will wait until 2026 to wrestle again? Let us know what you think in the comments section.